What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, the show where I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions and Dungeons and Dragons. And with me back again is Eugenio.
Yay! Hi.
Hey!
It really sounded like you said eat people, so that's good.
What?
What you said, do your intro again.
What? Oh, I'm going to do my intro again. What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, the show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions and Dungeons and Dragons. With me this week is again the amazing Eugenio Vargas.
It was something right in the beginning. I thought you said where I, Treavor Bettis, eat people.
This is the Idle Champions, Dungeons and Dragons, and Attack on Titan #1 fan show.
Ooh, what a pull. I love it. Hi.
How's it going, buddy?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Kent's in the game.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Me
we get
too.
to talk about this. Yeah.
I'm so
because
happy.
last time you were on, we specifically couldn't talk about this.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We knew it was coming. We knew it was going to happen. We all love to complain about that NDA live. It's fine.
Yeah. I was wondering. I'm just like, I wonder if anyone's going to notice that we just specifically do not talk about Kent in this episode. We talk about everything else about Rivals except for Kent.
It's true.
And like I said, this is your second time back, at least with me.
Yeah.
You've been on this show more than that. But I usually do the thing of like, how'd you get into D&D? But you've already answered that. Dear listener, viewer, you're not a listener. I guess you're listening, sort of.
Could be.
But if you haven't seen that, you can go check it out on our YouTube, where Eugenio and I talk about that, as well as how he got into D&D and about Pest, the one of the best familiars of all time.
Oh, I'm a big fan of him too.
But yeah, this week we're here to talk about Kent, and so I thought I'd start things off with why don't you tell people, like, in case someone is in here who doesn't know what Rivals of Waterdeep is or anything like that, what is Rivals of Waterdeep?
Yeah, Rivals of Waterdeep is let's see, I'm gonna what is our tagline, right? It's the longest running all POC actual play D&D campaign. It started back at the Stream of Many Eyes. Wizard of the Coast was producing, and their very first appearance was at Stream of Many Eyes. The original cast, we have two still original cast members on the show. That's Tanya DePass, Cypher of Tyr, and Sharif Jackson. They were part of the original cast, and the other players originally, oh no, let's see if I know my history, were Carlos Luna, Serena Marie, Brandon last name, help.
Good old Brandon last name, love him.
Brandon last name, and Cicero Holmes. I don't know why Brandon's last name has completely flown out of my brain.
It's gone out of my brain too. I am no help here.
Well, anyway. Oh, Stannis. There you go. Thank you, Brandon Stannis.
Okay.
Thanks,
thank you,
Cypher.
Brian.
Yeah. And it was amazing. They played live there at the Stream of Many Eyes. And here we are 14 seasons later. Like I said, we got two original cast members left. We are 19th level now. They started, I believe, and Tanya might remember better than me, but they didn't start at first level. They started at maybe 3rd or 5th level. Well, I guess 14 seasons. They started at 5th level because we're in season 14 and we get a level every season, and we're at level 19 now. And it's been amazing. We also rotate DMs every season. So a different cast member gets to sit behind the DM screen each and every season. I had the privilege of spending my season behind the DM screen with Urban Bohemian, with Brian back there, and we co-DM'd that season. But yeah,
I love all
sort
of the gifts that came out of that.
Especially from our live game at PAX.
The live game gifts are just chef's kiss.
Yeah. I love it. So yeah, that's Rivals. And then Brian and I joined as Virgil and Kent back in season 9. I think, because it was
I thought that was going to be the answer. Season.
I think it was season 9 because I believe it was one season before our 10th big celebration. Yeah, so that's Rivals.
That's awesome. Well, I'm with Ken coming into the show. Tell me about Ken. How did you come up with him?
So Kent was an interesting character to build and put together because we joined 5 seasons ago, right? So I started at 14th level with Kent. So a lot of that, like, learning about the character as they grow and choosing your subclass when the moment comes and all of that, I sort of didn't get to do any of that with Kent. And then on top of that, joining an established crew, right? Because Masood and Latia and Tanya and Sharif had been playing together as the Rivals for a while. And so Brian and I jumping into that existing crew, we were friends with them and we knew it would be fine, but that's always a different kind of dynamic, right? You have to find a way to make your character fully realized without, like, grabbing the whole spotlight for 2 full episodes to get all that backstory out, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of a difficult but fun and interesting. It was great, but it is a different way to think about creating and introducing a character. Okay, so all of that. So knowing all of that, I thought, I think I just wanted, in terms of personality, I think let's just make me and turn it up to 15, right? We're way past 11, let's be clear. But on a sort of a base sort of personality level, he's one of the few characters that I don't use an accent or a real voice for. It's very close to my own voice.
Oh, okay.
He's a rogue. My very first D&D character ever was a rogue, so it's a class that I'm very comfortable with. That I generally play magic users when I'm a PC, but rogues are a real comfort class for me. And then the subclass was what made it sort of interesting. Gave him a little magical abilities. Gave him an interesting backstory.
Yeah.
Choosing the Phantom Rogue is what inspired him to be an architect from his past and all of that sort of stuff.
That was one thing that I wanted to touch on with that. You had Kent be an archaeologist. What was like the thought behind that?
So it would be easy and obvious to say that it started because the archaeologist background exists since Tomb of Annihilation. I think it's in that book actually that it gives you, but actually it had nothing to do with that at first. It entirely came from the description of the Phantom subclass and talks about sort of this really like excessive exposure to death and dying and the spirits and the afterlife and all of that, right? That sort of infuse the rogue. And I thought, well, I mean, he could be super like edgelord dark. Oh, I've seen death and I know it intimately, right? But that's to do that every week for who knows how many seasons, and it's fun, but that doesn't feel like the vibe of the Rivals, right? All of this stuff. So I thought, all right, well, let's turn it on its head then. This is someone who has seen a ton of death, but in what context? What is the context that lets him be a little haunted about it, right? But it isn't like he's been in battlefields and killed thousands of people, right? So what did I go to was, well, one thing is he studies death. Okay, what does that mean? And then, we don't need to do every step of the progression, but eventually it led me to being an archaeologist who specifically specialized in studying the ruins of evil gods. In particular, right before he stopped being an archaeologist, he was on a rather long expedition to excavate an old temple of Tolona, the goddess of poison and disease, in the Snowflake Mountains. So that's sort of where the death and the poison and all of that came from. And it lets him still be light, right? It lets me be me. But he has that sort of dark and powerful side to him.
Brian is in the chat. I really love that he put oh my god, we could have had emo Kent.
Listen, there's still time. There's still time.
There's plenty of game left for the spirit to be broken.
That's right. Sorry, Verge, looks like you're in danger.
Your episodes are a couple hours long. You can get plenty of My Chemical Romance songs into there.
That's right.
There's plenty of time for that.
That's right.
So, okay, so you and Kent and Virgil joined 5 seasons ago. What has Kent's arc been like since joining? Yeah,
I mean, Kent has spent a lot of time running away from things, right? He was doing that Tolona expedition, and while they were moving through the temple, he lost the entire rest of his expedition was lost to various poisons and traps and things like that in the structure. And he feels some kind of way about it. Not, he would in any circumstances, but also that was supposed to be his job, right? He was the rogue. He was the one who was supposed to look out for that. So he left archaeology. He went home to a little quiet town near a lake called Cara Dune, and sort of, was in a not great place there for a while. And then he met Virgil, and they sort of began their relationship, and things started to look better. And then there was the accident at the tavern.
The accident.
The accident. Listen. Somebody asked Kent to deal with a rodent infestation in the basement, and Kent dealt with the rodent infestation in the basement. And the fact that the very ground upon which the tavern rests is poisoned and unlivable for probably centuries is really nobody's fault.
Yep, totally unforeseeable. There is no way that could have been prevented in any way, shape, or form.
I'm saying. So he and Virgil didn't run. They decided it was time to take an extended vacation from Cara Dune. So
Brian in the chat. Yes, the Cara Dune incident.
So glad you're keeping an eye on that because hilarious. And so we met Celise while we were traveling. She was traveling home from Tarami, and we met up, and she invited us to travel with her, and we met up with the Rivals. And so for the first couple of seasons, it really was about both Kent and Virgil, I think, sort of recognizing and understanding that actually Waterdeep and Trollskull Manor, which is the Rivals' home base, could be a home, could be a place that they could actually stay for a while. Virgil, I won't speak on Virgil's past, but Virgil has his own stuff that he was ready to leave behind as well, I think. And so the first couple seasons with Kent were just that. We're about getting to know the Rivals and understanding that actually I can unpack. Right. And then after those first couple seasons, then Brian and I DM'd our season, which meant that Kent and Virgil were not with the party for much of it. And so that whole season, their arc was about enjoying the hell out of something called Rivals Con, which is a fan convention that takes place in Trollskull Manor every year now. It was the first annual.
That's fantastic.
So that was the arc for that season. And then, this season we're in space, so I look forward. But I think for Kent, looking forward, he's been an adventurer for a long time in a bunch of different ways. He's finally found a place that he can see himself being for a while, and not, he could have seen himself being in Cara Dune for a while, but it got boring, right? He wasn't adventuring, he wasn't digging, he wasn't researching. Waterdeep's not like that. He could stay here for a while. So I think it's going to be about finding what Kent wants next. I don't know. It's been a while since he's had a chance to be in a place where he felt happy and secure and could really look toward the future in a significant way.
But back a bit, you said they met up with Celise as she was coming home from somewhere, and because I work with so many people that are talking about cons and stuff and going home and whatnot, I just pictured the three of you like in an airport, but like full fantasy gear. It's like, oh 100%. No, your name's Celise. Oh, very nice to meet you.
100%. Is that a symbol of Torm? You know what?
Oh
a tear, rather. Symbol of tear. I excavated one of his temples once. Yeah, it was real boring in there. Yeah.
Well, you've mentioned Virgil, and Kent has some abilities that are going to work with Virgil when Virgil comes to the game soon. We're talking about that ahead of time. I know it's
I know. It's wild. Oh no, how to navigate it.
And obviously, so obviously I'm going to talk to Brian about Virgil and whatnot. But what is Kent and Virgil's relationship like from Kent's standpoint?
Oh, now see, that's a tricky question because it depends on who's listening to Kent's answer. Let's assume he's being as honest as Kent ever is. About this, and say that Virgil is another adventurer, and so he understands Kent's need to go and do things, but he also is so much more even-keeled than Kent could ever dream of being. And I think that was the thing that Kent never had before. Even, his friends, his fellow archaeologists, it was, first of all, it was always, those were always professional relationships. And usually Kent was skilled enough that he knew his job at those dig sites and he would go do it, right? And didn't necessarily need to be told what to do or be brought down to whatever. And so it was really a new experience being with Virgil and finding out that actually somebody a little bit more even-keeled who cares about me and who, is with me, actually is a really calming, de-stressing thing. Kent is always at 11, and whether we see it or not, that does cause a great deal of stress often. And so having Virgil to sort of bring it back down is new and amazing for him.
I love that.
Yeah, not so new anymore, I guess, but like was new and is still amazing. How's that?
I like that.
But publicly, like they are obviously very, very close. Inseparable is not the word, because as adventurers, we have to break every DM and split the party at least a little bit. But they have a very easy, very sort of comfortable relationship with each other, and they don't often like to get too sentimental in public, but every now and again, something happens.
I actually just noticed we're doing a giveaway in chat right now. So all lowercase, Kent is here. It's one word. You enter for a chance to win 42 chests. Because 42? I didn't make it clear earlier. Yes, we're live. And if you were surprised that I just mentioned about something in chat, ha-ha!
How you know?
Surprised you. We pulled a rogue. Sneak attack.
That's right. I love it. Look at all those Kent is here's.
Yeah. So, also, it's a good time to mention that if you do have any questions after the cascades of Kent is here finish, you can put question : then your question in the chat, and I'll ask Eugenio at the end of the show your questions. Okay, so I mean, everything that I've heard about with Rivals and all y'all's characters is just so damn heartwarming. Like I absolutely love the group dynamic and all of the characters and everything. And really hearing you talk about Kent and Virgil, it's just, I love it. It makes me warm and happy.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good group, and it was. Well, I already mentioned, joining a pre-existing crew that is high level can be really difficult. And there were things about building and planning and understanding and getting to know Kent that were a little more difficult because of that. But I also should be very clear that, like, what an amazing group of 4 players to jump into. They were so welcoming. They gave Brian and I all the space that we needed to introduce our characters. The vibe of that party has, for as long as I've watched it, right, there's been something special about the Rivals, and it's so rewarding to now get to be a part of that cool, awesome, lovely dynamic.
Heck yeah. Why don't we talk about Kent's equipment? This is the thing that I love doing when people have characters come to the game, because I love how much just little detail gets put into these, and it's one of those, it's like, if you just look at it, you might not know it. And so I love talking to the creators about what sort of things went into it. So what piece of equipment you want to start with?
Oh, well, I think so. I would love to start with the connection items. But then I'm taking it away from when you interview Brian about Virgil, because he'll have all the same things.
We get both sides, both perspectives. No worries.
That's true. You know what? That's true. We won't say anything about Virgil's thoughts and feelings about the items. We'll just talk about Brian. But let's start with those. Okay. So we have both Virgil and I will have a set of items that are basically anniversary gifts throughout the years to each other, and the ways in which they were received sort of track how well we knew each other at the time.
I love that.
So for Kent, the common version of this item is a little golden medallion astrolabe. We will. I don't want to say too much about Virgil because I don't want to take anything away from Brian. But Virgil was a sailor at one point in his life, and so he gave, on our first anniversary, he gave Kent this really beautiful, right, golden astrolabe. And the flavor text on that one is exactly what I think Kent said when he received it, which is, "What is this?"
I love that so much.
So then the uncommon version, which is the same art, it's just a little bit better. So same art, same item, but the flavor text on that one is then what I said immediately next. What's that?
I just read it.
The flavor text for the uncommon astrolabe is what I said immediately after "What is this?" which is, it's kind of cool, I guess. It spins. You got to imagine him spinning so then the third one might be my favorite, because the third one is where the next year we knew each other a little better and we just gave each other the previous year's gifts because we knew that the other person would appreciate it more. So I gave Virgil back the astrolabe, and Virgil gave me a little piece of stained glass from one of my more fonder memories of dig sites. It's this beautiful red, green, and blue piece with like a little, lead to hold them together. Just a piece of shattered stained glass. And it had meaning to me, and Virgil had his own feelings about it. So we traded back. And so the flavor text for the little glass is, what I meant is we'd always, that's Virgil's. My flavor text says, he knows I love him. He wasn't preserving this piece well enough anyway.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
And then the last one is a little schmooshy. It is Kent wears the commitment ring for his commitment ring to Virgil. He wears it on an earring that he has. And so the epic item in this sequence is that ring. And the text is, a ring is kind of hokey, I guess, but so are we. Just don't tell anyone.
Even if you hadn't been reading that, I would have perfectly heard that in your voice.
yes, sure. I tried real hard.
Oh no! Cypher the chat next season. Kent and Virgil divorce.
Fortunately, those were gifts from long ago. Yeah. So we're over it, or the simmering resentment is really ready to just pop off. I don't know.
Oh jeez. That's the true overarching villain, resentment.
Yeah, right. Resentment. Yeah. So that's that little category.
I love that. So what are some of the other important pieces to Kenton here?
So we also have a series of soul trinkets. So Kent's ability in D&D as a phantom rogue, right? He collects soul trinkets from creatures that die. He doesn't have to be the one to land the killing blow, but he collects those, and they have various mechanical D&D effects for them. And then that's a pretty major part of his main buff ability in the game as well, is that he's collecting soul trinkets from bosses in Idle Champions. But so there are 3 here, and the first one is the clasp for his cloak that is in all of the art, but we don't know where it came from. He's had that soul trinket from long before he joined the Rivals. But the other 2 trinkets are from different Rivals episodes. So the rare one is called Vanquished Enemy, and it's a little like brooch or pin of the robe of a Red Wizard of Thay.
Ooh.
And back in season 10 or 11, it was the season that Latia DM'd where the Rivals went to Candlekeep. As we were heading to Candlekeep in this carriage, we were ambushed by some folks who we later found out were dressed up to look like Red Wizards of Thay, but were not actually Red Wizards. And Kent captured a soul trinket of one of them in this shape. And so that's one of the items in the game. And then the epic version of the soul trinket is from the season that Masood DM'd that had us finishing off our season fighting Grotst, the Demon Lord.
Oh, yeah, no, familiar with him. He's a big fan of Natty Ice, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly, him. Well, he's dead now.
Oh, sweet. Good
well,
to know.
No, he's not. He's a Demon Lord, and we killed him. Oh, no, we did kill... You know what? None of this matters. The point is, the Rivals defeated Grotst in battle. Kent took a soul trinket from him because that's what he does. And so he has a soul trinket in the shape of... I've just forgotten the name of Grotst's wavy sword.
Wave of Sorrow?
Wave of Sorrow, thank you, yes. In the shape of Wave of Sorrow. And the flavor text for this one I really like. Because he took it, and then Masood, we ended the season with Masood doing some vaguely ominous cliffhanger about weird emanations coming from the replica of Grotst's evil sword.
Oh, Lord.
So the flavor text on this item is, I'm 100% sure this won't create any problems. Probably.
Oh, Lauren's got an image of Wave of Sorrow.
Yeah,
up there.
he is.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, there's Wave of Sorrow. Yeah,
I'm sure nothing bad will come from that ever. Absolutely not.
Of course not.
Yeah, I've played enough Destiny to know that this is fine.
This is fine. I foresee no problems.
Nope, not a one. So one of these, the gold medal costume. What is up with this? Because I see Salisa's kind of imagery in here.
Yeah, so this goes from just like a plain cozy robe that I talk about, and I gave a matching one to Virgil, and I'm currently, he didn't wear it, whatever. And then it gets upgraded to my beautiful mother of pearl lined cloak, and I talk about the lining is pretty and watch me spin. But then the epic version of this item slot is the costume that Kent wore to the first annual Rivals Con for the cosplay competition. It is a replica of Celise's outfit, including her Psychomancer shield. And Kent entered the cosplay contest at Rivals Con 1 wearing that. And so, it's up on screen now, yes. And so, as it says, Celise is probably going to kill me for this costume.
I was about to say, I've never wished we could suddenly go live to someone more on this show ever. If I had the power to go, we go live to Tanya's thoughts on this, I'd hit that button.
I love it. I love it. It was so funny when we were designing it too, right? Because I kept being like, well, here's the thing. Right, the rare version already has my nice cloak and my glamored leather armor. I don't know what to upgrade that to because the glamored armor can look like anything, right? So I don't really know. Is she yelling at me in chat?
She says, "Trevor, I'm right here," and I'm saying, "Give me your thoughts."
And I just kept being like, I don't know what to make the glamored leather look like. That would be an upgrade to it. What else could we? Oh. So I like it a lot.
I love that. I really do. That's that is one of the most wild pieces of equipment I've gotten to hear about on this show. It was that time my character cosplayed as one of the other characters.
And I had this moment, right, where I was back and forth with the designers, right, and we finalized what it was going to be. I finalized the text under it, and I had this moment where I was like, a lot of people play this game, and a lot of those people do not watch Rivals of Waterdeep. And I don't care.
Yeah, no, seriously. Also, I gotta say, Tony put in the chat, this is so dang sweet. Honestly, it made me tear up a bit because that's super sweet and ties Celise and Ken. That's so sweet. Oh, I'm giving you the heart hands, even though I can't do hearts well.
Yeah, on a real life human level, yes.
Yeah.
On a Ken level, it was totally a troll, but yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so tell me about the last. You got the deadly steppers.
Yeah, what do we got? Oh my God, yes, my shoes, obviously. So they start in with just some sort of plain looking boots with a single little bandolier loop on them. One of my favorite piece of Kent's equipment is his poison boots. Poison boot. Oh, we'll tell that story later.
What?
It has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. But basically, he designed boots that have spaces where he can set vials of poison. He's got the poisoner feet, so he sticks vials of poison in there, and he can take his rapier, stab through the little cork top, and poison his rapier that way very quickly.
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool.
Yeah, I really like it. And so that's what these boots are, and each better version has more loops and more vials of poison.
Look what Brian just put in the chat.
Literally the poisoner. Hang on, let me just change my mic input real quick so that you can hear this. There we go. So yeah, the first couple, the lower level versions of the boots are, talking about what they're made of, and do you like them, and this sort of thing. But then the Deadly Steppers, the epic version, have one of my favorite little details that the artist did without me saying anything was the boots have this beautiful sort of silver, it's actually mithril design going up them.
Yeah, I see that.
And it matches the mithril design that is on Kent's horns.
Oh God, I love that. I love that matching. And actually, oh my gosh.
The other item that we also still need to talk about, the chest or the wardrobe, also has that design on it. But of course, the flavor text is finally boots for daytime and nighttime.
That's beautiful. That's fantastic. Okay, traveling wardrobe.
Traveling wardrobe.
Are you going to go see some fawn next to a lamp? What's going on here?
No. Traveling wardrobe as in it travels with me everywhere I go. It is my suitcase.
I get you. Okay. I was thinking the other way. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it travels with me. It doesn't help me travel. So the common and uncommon versions are just like an overstuffed backpack, right? Because Kent famously has a lot of luggage and a lot in his luggage. So they're just backpacks that sort of have a bunch of stuff in them. Flavor text is like, everything's wrinkled, and I'm sure I have it here somewhere. And then we get like a trunk, right? Like a steamer trunk, whatever, right? And it's like got ropes on it holding it closed because it's overflowing and things are spilling out. And the flavor text of that one is, why won't it close?
Just see Kent just sitting on top of it.
Exactly. Virgil, tie it here. And then the epic version is the traveling wardrobe, which, as I mentioned, has this really cool matching design from the horns on the doors. There it is. And it is still a little overstuffed. You can still see something coming out of the drawer at the bottom, so it doesn't quite fit perfectly because that would be potentially impossible.
Yes.
And the flavor text is, well, that'll do for now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we didn't exactly talk about the blade.
We did skip that. Yeah. It's so the rapier that Kent uses just gets a little fancier every time. Of course, the common version, which we've titled the Rusty Rapier, his response is, I'm sorry, I have to fight with this. And all the way up to the extravagant blade that has tassels coming off of the hilt and a beautiful hand guard, right? And all of this stuff. And the text is, it's a blade worthy of the rest of my outfit.
I will say that one of the things I love about this set is that, like, we always try to make the epic ones, feel epic and fancy and whatnot. This is one of the few times where I'm just like, this is all fancy. This is the fancy section. This is all style, and I'm here for it.
All style. Listen, he has the extra ability. How could I not?
Exactly. I love it. And what you just had a stream just before we got in here. Unlocking Kent. I guys, how wild was that? Seeing Kent in the game.
I don't really have words for it, to be honest, which is wild because I've been seeing him and his art and the game version of him for months, right? We've been working on this with the team for a long time. So part of me was like, when he drops, it'll be great because everyone else will get to see him too. But in terms of like my game, it'll be fun to finally see him in action, but whatever. No. I was so wrong. It was awesome. It was so exciting and great. And seeing the abilities that we put together and the items that we put together. I didn't actually, y'all were kind enough to send me a bunch of gold chests for Kent also, so that we could
Listen,
I
wanted to make sure that you were locked and loaded for that stream, okay? I went in there and I was just like, he has how many chests? No.
It was great, and it was a great opportunity to like show off the equipment to my channel when we were doing it earlier. But also that I refused to open any of them before stream today. So he didn't have really any equipment on him. And so it was exciting to see all of those things in game popping up and remembering designing them and all that. So
that's so good.
It was awesome.
And on top of that, though, you're also in Idle Champions Presents Hunger of the Far Realm.
Yeah.
Which first episode was this past Monday. What an episode that was.
Speaking of meeting other established adventuring characters and like immediately vibing, what a crew. What a match made in Mount Celestia, Kent and Virgil with Evelyn, Strix, and Walnut. Just incredible.
Like, there's like, every time we do one of these and we're getting, we're doing the greatest crossover of all time. Like, it feels like that every time we're doing that.
Totally.
We get everything, sort of vibes going into it. There is that moment where I'm just like, oh, well, like how are they going to do together? How these characters going to meld so quickly? And like, I've loved every Idle Champions Presents, but I don't know if there has been a group that has just gelled so quick, so well.
there were so many obvious things for us to connect about, right? So Strix and I got to connect about being a tiefling, and then also had more to play with because we are exact opposite types of tiefling, right? I cannot think of a tiefling less like Kent than Strix.
I'm very fancy. I like trash.
I like trash and more trash. Okay, and chickens. You know what I could do with the chickens? Nice feathers. Virgil and Walnut like vibed immediately in a way that I don't know how I didn't expect, but I didn't, and it was glorious. And then, of course, Kent loves Evelyn because Evelyn worships Lathander, the most extra god in the multiverse.
The most extra. The absolute most extra.
The kind of god that just decides to let me do over 220 points of damage in 2 rounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of extra Kent likes because it's flashy and also powerful.
I'm not going to say what adventure and I'm not going to say where, but there is a written adventure of D&D that if you pray in front of a stained glass of Lathander, you instantly magically get a +1 weapon. And I'm like, that's the most Lathander thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So it was just so easy for us to find commonalities or opposites, whatever. Both are easy to play off of. So it was great. It was a great first episode.
Yeah. Well, in case folks didn't get to catch everything, what is Isle Champions Presents Hunger of the Fire? What's going on there?
So Kent and Virgil were out doing some shopping in Waterdeep and got summoned to the Rock of Brawl in the Astral Sea. We kind of didn't know what was happening, but we went along and we have been summoned along with Evelyn and Strix and Walnut. We've been summoned because somebody,
who knows?
Somebody is out in the Astral Sea, out in some place out there, and is trying to absorb the power of a dead god. When gods die in the multiverse, their bodies will often go and float through the Astral Sea and solidify and petrify often, and sometimes there are cities built on them. This god has not been dead very long, as I understand it. Can I just spoiler alert? It's entirely the fault of the Assault on Mount Tiamat. The god is Tiamat. That somebody is trying to take the power from her corpse. So we have to go and stop Hadar from absorbing Tiamat's power from her body, which might mean bringing Tiamat back, which I think is absolutely hilarious.
For those of you that are familiar with B. Dave Walters, he has a certain affinity for a certain 5-headed dragon god. And the fact that this man, who has gone on rants about hating Bahamut, sat there and played Bahamut raving about Tiamat, was just like, oh, it's gonna be fine, just bring her back, no worries. I'm like, you would do this. You would do this.
Incredible. And it's funny because I'm working actually on putting together a campaign for something else that pretty heavily involves they're not directly involved, but the relationship between Bahamut and Tiamat is a huge part of the meta story for that campaign. And their relationship in my head is very different than what B. Dave portrayed from Bahamut's end in this episode. And so I had to take a minute where I was like, okay, wait, hold on. Shift the worldview. Okay, I'm ready.
No, I get that. By the way, Lauren was awesome in chat and put a link to our YouTube. If you missed the first episode of Isle Champions Presents Hunger of the Fire Realm, you can go check it out on our YouTube. And if you're watching this later on our YouTube, hey, you're in the right place. Just go click down there to our profile and go find it. It's right there. But yeah, so this is going on for several weeks now. I think we're
Idle Champions or Idle Champions Presents. Yeah, we got 5 more episodes.
Yeah, and the voting. Have you been keeping up on the things that are voting?
Well, I have, and today the vote is on me. It's about whether I get something new. So everybody watching, if you haven't already voted, vote for the utility item.
Oh, okay.
I like my sword just fine, thanks very much.
I'll be honest, that's why I voted for armor last time, with Evelyn, because I'm just like, she's got a weapon.
Well, what B. Dave was brilliant, right? Giving her the dancing sword that she can still use her weapon and then use her bonus action to swing with that. That's awesome. Kent has other things to do with this bonus action. Also, to be very clear, and if those of you watching, if you already voted and you voted for the weapon, it's super fine. I'm not upset. He's going to get a new magic item. Kent is thrilled.
Yeah, we got several people say this is like, yeah, I voted for that.
Good. Justice. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So I've been keeping up with that as best I can. I'm excited.
Yeah, there was a certain other vote yesterday that had to do with a space whale and an astral dreadnought. Who knows what's up with that? You know.
Yeah. So funny enough, I don't care. I voted for the dreadnought. Kindori are awesome and beautiful, but I'm not going to lie to you. I had a real fear that B-Dave would put us in a position where we'd have to kill one, and I don't want to do that.
Okay, you know what I love about us? That's exactly the same reason I did it.
If I'm gonna have to fight and kill some sort of enormous space creature, let it at least be trying to kill me at the same time.
Let it be a nasty man. Like don't have it be the most perfect thing in space. Make it a nasty man.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Kindori, there might be a fun thing involving Kent and Kindori that I get to share tomorrow. So watch the things.
Yeah, watch those social spaces. Who knows what'll pop up.
Yeah.
Okay, tell you what, let's hop over to some chat questions and see what they've been up to. Remember, there's still time. You can still put question : and then your question in the chat. Or also Mod Jay will grab it and put it in there. That's right, we got Jay today. Jay's back in the mod seat. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, let's start with the lurking writer. No spoilers for Hunger of the Far Realm. Well, too late.
Sorry.
But Virgil and Kent are an absolute delight.
Oh, thanks.
There's not even a question there. Lurking writer just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Thanks. We're excited to get to play him in there.
Yeah. Cassius335 says, question, has Kent ever been tempted to dress up as a mild-mannered reporter?
So, no, but I will tell you. Oh, okay. So I've said this enough in public spaces. I don't feel weird about saying this. So, when Kent in his archaeology days, Kent favored a particular outfit that included sort of a brown, hat and sort of a it'll be more clear when I tell you Kent's full name, which is Kentucky Jones.
I don't know if I was aware of that.
Perhaps not. I think I've said it really briefly on Rivals, maybe once in passing, maybe, and I've mentioned it on my channel. But his name is Kentucky Jones, like Indiana Jones, but not.
I'm a little upset with myself that I didn't instantly catch that. Like I did the reaction, but I went, but Trevor, you didn't know that, and now it's setting in. That's fantastic. Oh my god.
my biggest regret my only regret about Kent, right, is that I couldn't quite make it worth it. He has one. I've never brought it out because it's pretty useless, but I wish I could feature a whip more prominently in his combat abilities. But it's just really not that good a weapon. So
you got to get one of those like whip rapiers where it's still like metal, but it's like you just flick it out there. What is going on here?
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah.
Okay.
So that, yeah.
I like that. Let's see. Cypher of Tyr. Hey there, Cypher. Question: is Celise ever if Celise ever got remarried, would Kent agree to be her best man?
I mean, here's the thing, Celise. I mean, yes, but think about what you're asking. There are certain responsibilities that a best man has that I just don't know if Celise is entirely ready for Kent's version of some of those things. But if that's what she wants, he would be thrilled by all means.
See, I would suggest, like, because there's the best man speech, just, if you're worried, have someone else write it. However, I can't full-heartedly say that because when I was a teenager, I was a best man and no one trusted me to write it. And so they wrote it and then people still laughed anyways because something popped in there that absolutely should not have been said by a high schooler.
Incredible.
I think Kent would make it an amazing best man for Celise. Let's see. This is from Netflix is My Roommate. Well played. Question: what is it like playing the same character concurrently in two shows and at two different levels?
It's well, we've only done it once so far. It's weird and interesting. B-Dave is great about talking to everybody who does Idle Champions Presents, because that's the case for all of those characters. Yeah. And so there were lots of options for how it sort of fits into Kent's continuity, Kent's storyline. One of which being like, it doesn't have to. It can be something totally separate, whatever. What we have kind of decided to go with is that they're basically like alternate universes, but the Kents and Virgils in the two universes are kind of aware of each other through dreams. And actually, we came up with that because of something that Tanya did in our first episode of Rivals this season. The beginning of the season premiere episode was all about Kent and Gosrick had been having weird dreams about creatures that we later learned were creatures from the astral sea. And so Brian and I decided that the way that they're linked is, since we're both in doing a Spelljammer setting-esque season, the two versions of Kent and Virgil will have little moments where they're like, like weird deja vu, like, oh, I feel like I dreamed something about this once. They have some of the experiences. We can make references across shows, but we don't have to make the logic of how they can be in these two places at those times work, right? So
that's fantastic. I really like that idea. I love multiverse cool. stuff like so dang much. Like that's some of my favorite stuff to put into a game. And that's a really cool and unique way of doing that.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, it was totally on the spur of the moment. Once we sort of figured out what was happening with the dreams in that episode of Rivals, I was like, oh, this is useful. We'll use this.
Yeah. That's really cool. Let's see. The Lurking Writer says, question, is the gold medal costume the real reason why Kent is now in spaz?
Yes. Celise found out about the costume and decided to manufacture the rest of the rivals getting kidnapped to space. That is almost certainly not what happened. Kent, Celise was very busy with her new squeeze, as I understand, but I do think that's very funny.
Let's see, what is this? So this is from Lexinum. Question, actually it says not a question. Here in Mexico we have the lore that Lathander looks like Luis Miguel because he's the son. Oh God.
I have to tell my parents that. They will only kind of get it, but they'll get the son part and it'll be great. Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's really, really good.
That's excellent. I love that. I'm so happy I know that. Oh, man.
Oh, good. Robo's in the chat and losing it now.
Yay!
Orc Princess, question, did the players enjoy the things that were voted on by the Idle Champions players?
Oh, apps. I mean, I did. I don't speak for everybody else, but I assume Anna enjoyed getting a dancing sword. The Vampirates were great, although they got wrecked in 6 seconds by our 17th level paladin. It's fine. And by our 17th level sorcerer, Strix polymorphed the hell out of him. So that was super fun. Kobold speed dating was everything I've ever wanted and more.
So real talk. B-Dave and I recorded a podcast that night after y'all's show, and we talked. I was like, I really wish you had just done the whole episode in the Kobold speed dating somehow. Just have Vampirates crash the speed dating.
Yes,
just to get it all there.
So good. And can I tell you, so we got a message from B-Dave before we went live, before we were in backstage chat, just being like, oh, hey, just want to flag, there will be some light flirting in tonight's episode. If it ever crosses any lines, like, be sure to let me know. All the good safety tool stuff.
Yeah.
And my distracted butt was like, what the hell is he talking? Okay, well, here we go. And then we arrived at the tavern with all of the kobolds, and immediately I remembered the vote, and I was like, oh God, here it comes. Oh God, here it comes. So good.
That is fantastic. Yeah, again, folks, if you haven't seen the first episode, go check it out on YouTube. It's incredible. I do like the lurking writer is not a question, but a suggestion for a retitle. Idle Champions 4, the one with space whales. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Cassius 3 through 5 said, given that we've broken the spoiler tag, question: how many heads do you think Tiamat is going to revive with?
So we're counting on less than 5 is really all I can say at this point. We're like very hardcore hoping for fewer than 5.
I feel like at least the one that Jim Zub sliced off with a Vorpal blade. I mean, that one's got to stay out. Come on.
I think it's going to depend on like how we're bringing her back, right? Because we don't know what's in this magic god power box. Yeah. We just know that in theory we're supposed to take it to her body. So we'll just have to see. But we're strenuously hoping for fewer than 5.
Let's see here. We're getting towards the end, but I think we get the rest of these. Rex Verde, question.
Rex,
how have the two of you not passed out from laughing through this conversation? I'll tell you what, Rex, been close. That is why I'm drinking the water.
Years of breathing exercises from singing lessons and a nice strong diaphragm. How's that?
All right, last one. This is Lexum. I can't do it. Lexunam. I'm gonna go with that. Question. But do you think that if Kent got another sword,
Oh no! What is the rest of this question?
Don't you think that if Kent got another sword, it will be an extra sword? Oh, Eugenio, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Me too. Thank you for having me.
If people wanted to find you and what you're doing on the internet, where could they do so?
They can actually come over. We're going to stream just another hour of Idle Champions so we can look at Kent for a little bit longer.
Yeah!
So they can hop over to my channel right as soon as we come down, twitch.tv/DMJazzyHands. Same username on Twitter where you can find that thing I was talking about Kent and the Space Whales. It'll be on there tomorrow. And also, updates on what other shows I'm on and where you can find me throughout the week. And I have a podcast that's sort of the other thing that's outside of the streaming space called The Last Refuge. We are, by the end of this year, we'll have finished recording our 10th and final season of that podcast. We've been going for about 5.5 years and we're finally wrapping it up. So that's called The Last Refuge, a D&D podcast. You can go check that out wherever podcasts are potted.
Sorry, I haven't heard that one. Podcasts are potted. I like that. Yeah, no, that was on my list because I'm just so excited that this long running thing is coming to an end. It's got an ending. Like that's cool. Yeah. I love that. Sort of stuff.
I agree. And we just finalized and like locked in some plans to make season 10 extra special, and we'll probably announce them in about a week. But I'm super excited about season 10 for us. So
heck yeah, be sure to follow Eugenio on Twitter so you can keep up to date on that. But once again, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been an absolute pleasure. And don't forget to unlock Kent in game right now. You can literally be doing it right now. Through what's it? Liar's Night. That's right. We got Liar's Night going on right now. And be sure to check out Idle Champions Presents Hunger of the Far Realm every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific here on twitch.tv/CNE Games. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. So until next week, take care of yourself.